at a whopping sum of $400 million. I am informed that the National Ecumenical Center in Abuja, which is used by all Christian faith in Nigeria, was built at a cost of $30 million.
Ghana man penny John Dramani Mahama and I attend a canon. Now we are outside who be sempo empo abiding who say obesity BBC National Cathedral Mayaya a baby or the best crania baby yanum a year womudin.
I believe that we can reach a more reasonable figure for achieving such a project, and together we can raise the funding for it. Such a reconsideration of this project might even include changing the current site that was chosen for the project. I leave the rest to any such future consultation that we will have as the body of Christ.
Na ye so a ye be yani mu no ana minority leader ye wo parliament Alexander Fenyo Markin so beka say ye mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama wafum woni mu mara no pa nti we nua nkato a ye mfum so sis ye wa ye genesis wa sheda so wo chia mara no na se obi pese anas mampani pese ye pabedwa e ma wo mu ehre nipa o pese ne o mu ye adwuma mu a ye wo kwan a ye de fa so se mampani kwan o fa so no entwa ye ntie yewura Alexander Afenyo Markin.
The Secretary to the President reported to have been given the mandate by the President to sign a letter to us. May I refer us to Order 65.1 of our rules, which provides that communication from the President to the House shall be to the Speaker in writing, signed by the President, or in the absence of the President, by the Vice President, or by a minister authorized by the President. So we're from this letter from the Secretary to Parliament. So ab initio, President Mohammed's government has breached the standing orders of this House. He failed to write directly to Parliament. He got his secretary to write to us. And even so, that letter from the secretary
na yeti so this Procedural sama peniachia bibi no wie ya no de kan ho se Ghana for modern na esanse se NDC amanyokuo ene ye mampani John Dramani Mahama yeso on be chia bibia wo mo ho so on be hwam ya tene no
appears to be a shift in tone from scrap to rationalize. Chairman, this is unacceptable. Campaign promises are not conditional. They are commitments that form the foundation of a social contract between leaders and the electorate. To appear to alter that commitment after assuming office is to betray the trust of the people. Let it be known to this House, particularly the minority side, will hold the government accountable to its promises. If the people were promised the abolition of burdensome taxes, that promise must be fulfilled without equivocation or delay. Accordingly, if approved, nominee for finance must be prepared to take decisive and concrete steps to present Parliament with a comprehensive and actionable plan for removal of the said taxes without delay. These measures must be reflected in the President's first budget and economic policy statement to this House, or even before that document is presented. Let it be clear one more time that this House will not entertain any equivocation, delays, or excuses. Promises made to the people must be honored.
Alexander Afrenyo Makinono. Yansa kwe mapani John Dramani Mahama nchen biu. Wadi atu omafo ye wo boko ne mpotamo. Eni obia wo free boko anani ne japade bi wo boko. Yase bebia wo japade wono hono wakoma wo. Enti bi kra na uyiri wukunu ana se bia utotopo bi anene sisa hohon wofi ana di dwabi ye no no wo nkrabata ewo boko enti asemsi ho a eka wasem nyina mo nka makoma ntomo yam na eho asem ya no pasa sundwe besan aba ho enti bro ba ye mampani no bia ye odi kantu kwan ekoso okwa ye adwuma eye boko bi enti ebro kokodu boko no komo a odi sudwa.
During the campaign, I stated that if God granted our desire and I was elected president, bringing peace to Bawku was going to be one of my #1 priorities. So today is exactly 1 week when I was sworn in at the Black Star Square, and it's my first major assignment outside Accra. And so I decided to come and assure you that we're going to work very hard to make sure that we bring peace back to Bawku. I remember when I was president, Bawku and surrounding areas were very peaceful, and work was going on, people were going about their duties. It's sad that this situation has occurred again. And I know that for the last 3 years, you have not been able to sleep. You've been living under stress. And so the priority of our government will be to bring peace back to Bawku so that everybody can go about his duties without fear of harassment.
Yeman pani John Dramani Mahama Sunje Bosa wase amafo ye wo boko eneno na owie no asan ekakyere woni a wapa wo mo ese wo mo nkọ boko enkonkwa ye adwuma ene woni a wo dwumadi ahodo obedie ebefa asundwe yi ne kwa ebefa so amapepe ye aye adwuma e wo boko no ese wo mo ho nye ha na wose nipa waka mo asem ye defense minister aso interior minister national security advisor national security coordinator director of bureau of national investigations waso obi anye na from the intentem so se be ya ebeboa ama asundwe a wo pe e wo boko no na nsa be kan sanse se bi amafo komtwiwa ene woni akeka nyina wo ho obi krom wo fan bag sami komi krom a okoboko obi tinkran obi tikomase obi wo baabi ahodo bebre mpobu atimale na busua ne na sase ne na wiye nyina e wo boko enti sasundwe ni hono mo a nipa na da wonna enti obi anya ne ntam.
We want to assure you that we're putting in place the various appointments so that we can have ministers and other officials who are responsible for the security to take charge. And so within this week, we will do the appointments of the Minister of Defense, the Minister of Interior, the National Security Advisor, the National Security Coordinator, the BNI Director, and all the others. And when these appointments are made, I'm going to charge them to make Bawku one of the #1 priorities that they attend and deal with. And so I'll appeal.
Ghana Mampani John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency na Yetene Kano. That Jumadi no Sasia na nominees ya Mampani John Dramani Mahama ayi wo mono Joda and Wasasia to 1 vetting processes no course so na 1 year wo mudi kai FM bi so 4 year wo be hweka sam ene ntotua so na ebra Jumadi no ekoso no adwuma ko enya ne sia mra so bedwani asesei wo majority leader Dr. Atoba Fosen wono ene kokopi animu a ene kikiri wajiko guye John Abdullah Jinapo esiso kokofa wo manim Dominic ye akuritinga anyene esiso kokofa wo manimu a wo munyina efra bi na yenti said the vetting processes now ekoso
market, particularly when inflation is reduced. Today, it is very difficult for us to go back to the bond market. But for us to go back there, domestic bond market, I mean, for us to go back there are a few things we need to get it right. Your credit rating and inflation. Inflation today is 23.8, the highest in the last 8 months. And you can see that inflation is inching up. It's inching up by the day. Why has inflation become so stubborn?
We at first in the Brako vetting committee no any somewhat we did to Janubi. Finance Minister designate Korea Atuba Forcing Esako say John Dramani Mahama Amamua Wade Bano or Ressa Senior High School Bejina Natsna Naya Kama Acha Sadiane Etieno. Now wasn't another Danko Kufado any dika de ba yade. So I'll be printing Yama Bebre and Tray. Na Nanekana Koya Kanana Sunyamia Drama Babaton Sapamidi or se bibia na wo free senior high school mu a emma anko ya mu Ghana wo mu so be ye free ho na kwada na ko school wo wo fu ntua hwe na so be nya baby pa dan adwane pedi na wo betinye nya mmre a wo de besua de nso na wo mo de sua na bebo o my Ghana dachi.
Currently, we have some social intervention programs rolling. 1, free SHS, boarding, free, tuition, free, feeding, free. Would you sustain the free SHS program in its current form and shape and even improve upon the quality? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nominate your answer to the question. Whether you will sustain and improve upon the free senior school program.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Mr. Chairman, myself and the minority leader has a history. We plan to enter this chamber together. Unfortunately, in his first attempt, he couldn't make it, and I made it. Mr. Chairman, he lost that primaries, and I won. And today, I'm 1 term older than him. Mr. Chairman, I'm his senior. He's older than me just 4 months, same year. We are 2 constituencies apart. We used to do private sector business even before we all entered here, and we've known ourselves growing up. Everyone knows the relationship between us. But working with him didn't stop me from doing my work, and it didn't stop him from also doing his work. And so, to add to colleagues, we may have relationships, but it should not stop you from doing your work. You should work for God and country, and you have to do it with the best of intention to help our country grow. We did just that. We've had a moment, we fought, we united ourselves. Today, the tables have turned. He's now the minority. Come to stay. And if there's anything, we'll come to this house for us to work together. But the president has said it. The budget will be presented to this house for us to peruse, consider it, and approve it. So let's not jump the gun. But I'm sure you are very sure. You are very much aware of what His Excellency, his pronouncement in the last few years.
Ofen be here no efa se amafo di kakra de adwenche ba se akwada bia ko school a ban nim e ka wo bo akwada ba ko ho da bia na duane a wodi no eya he se 10 Ghana cedis a aban se na onkasa akwada no ba school be din enefo aduasa enti ni sikanie ni school fees nie enti akwada ba ko bia minim se afi no se bosome no ba school our private school moi me tia me ka 100 Ghana cedis it is our private school now so be sika kro no a me do mo bebrew na me maye ni sika e de amamo no ahwe e na bayan fia besine eno e na semi do pepper so it say bisa atofo sense atwe na mo so se mo aka sa free senior high school mo betrem na ka mo de private schools na ka ho mo da so aginem.
The private secondary schools that you propose to extend free SHS to is going to include Ghana International School, Lincoln, Association, because all these are private schools, secondary schools. Are you going to include them?
Well, the nominee is capable of answering the question. Private school.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not aware that Ghana International Lincoln undertakes WASI. They don't write WASI. I'm not aware. I'm not aware that Ghana International School goes through West Africa Examination Council. They do GSC, GCSEs and A-levels and others. I'm not aware that you can equate Lincoln with a school fees of $30,000 to Achimota School. I'm not aware of that. The chairman, let's get to work. And when we get there, we'll present to this House a comprehensive program. The chairman, the previous administration was unable to pass the free SHS bill. You are aware of that. And, Mr. Chairman, we will regulate this free senior high school policy properly to make it sustainable, so that it becomes part of our nation's development.
As a free tuition now, almost from my university, as Yafua, one more call as a full muno, and also what's it is saying.
The extra costs to be incurred under free SHS to cover private schools. So these are two main expenditure lines to look out for. So let me start with the first one. With the free university tuition for first years, I understand the university students are starting their semester 1. Now, are you going to implement it now, the free first year tuition for university students? Are you going to implement it this academic year, which has just begun, and would you factor it in your budget, which you are going to present? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Well, proceed with the answer.
Mr. Chairman, first, I'm not yet the Minister of Finance. Second, Mr. Chairman, I have to be at the ministry to assess the situation and introduce government policies accordingly. My responsibility as Minister of Finance will include mobilizing domestic revenue to fund government projects or government flagships. I will do that not alone, but working with Cabinet. I'm mindful of our manifesto promises, and I should be the one to be able to recommend same to government if we can afford it. And
Facebook ni demo Angel 102.9 FM ubetini abado adwenche no ato mo amadikan wo ne ehu dada ehu comments ni nyina nyame sra mo pa ene na mahusa Dorita GH wo ha Samuel Boadu susu wo ha ena ohene Alta Bands ensusu nie Emmanuel Panford ensu ginemu ni CD man on the anedofo pani atru ena Anon Win Solomon ensusu ewo ha no mahusa Eric Sel ejinamu ena kwasi otu susu wo ha afi Judith owusu ejinamu ena asamwahene ensusu wo ha Kwadwo asampa ewo ha Kwadwo de o debi asamwahene yate Nyankopon shaupa mala Musa Yusuf eni ena nana ya Serwaa nana yedase asamwahene wasiaba osagefo Kofi dankwa Nyankopon shaupa sawososo wo ha ena Prince Yeboa ensu ginamu wo ha Isaac Odonko ene Hamza Moro yadamu nyina sisemu ginamu achu wo ha no a yesru kra oba bibia amamwai achu amonso ababe ya no kra kwasi otu also otu domokola Nyankopon shaw se wo hweye yadamu nyina se yerepa ama awukubia boache yerepa ama awukubia boache udim so udim ya mede eti amebwa de be presa no Nyankopon shaw se wo ha medamu nyina se Facebook no kwaso abrafo adwenche no ba meba be kan ni nyina ede amaw afei yakoya ni moe Energy Minister Designate John Abdullahi Jinaponso ekokopie beja womo na omusa omumu ahweso omusa fatana no enim vetting committee no enim na ono na ebisa na Sanfa Electricity Company of Ghana ECG omujumadi ho eno na obebo amane yesese nyame ya na dom obeye minister no ye gini tumu a ade abako esi na ninu so ne se obema ECG na ankrankran ba besom abai krade mu aya na asamanfo enhyeda nsuso ne ye na ankrankran ba besom no ono ye adwana na gene faso a se nipa no mfa ni agro nti ono de na dwen sure de ba no
Honorable Jinapo, you on the 18th of September 2024 alluded to the fact that when the matter of ECG was up for discussion, you stated that the decision to have a private sector participation wasn't what was good for ECG. However, you were of the candid and considered opinion that the interference by politicians and the fact that we need to weed off political interference was the way to go. Fast forward on the 17th, on or around the 17th or the 7th of January, you were heard again on radio stating that you think that the only way forward was to have private sector participation, especially in the metering and collection sector of Ghana Electricity Company. Now, my question to you is, and you back this particular position with the fact that ATC and C, which you just alluded to, much, but I wasn't handed over a KPMG report. I asked a direct question as co-chair to ECG, and they told me that the losses was around 40%. But if you have a KPMG report, I would like to read it to enrich my knowledge. Thank you.
Anu ya wadema ya bra obisa na sam edefa eye enyamkania oso odeba man krankran ho minority of parliament and worker say Bernard Ehiafo chairman edema appointment committee no edu baby asa de ade yesi gire finfin aso akoka fa baako ho asa referee wodima fa baako no enti ama adwa na wo mo ye no ohunu ni se emakwa ma minority fo no misa nsam a esese wo mu bisa we eye ebra 15 January wo shase 13th January enti na adu ni na etoto mi nsaso ena na wa friends and trafo ni omudi nkomo a na odi sansemi etu edwa press conference a wo ye no wukwada wo se dwumadie na se dwuada enti dwuada panada wukwada na Dr. Gideon Bawku na so bedwani ota no north obeka se mi se hiafo no de oye no omakwan emadwuma asese omo ye no enkwasa de esese ekono mayentie se de Dr. Bawku kai.
Dear friends in the media, 3 days ago, in accordance with the constitutional requirement outlined in Article 78(1), the Appointments Committee of Parliament met to consider the vetting of 3 ministerial nominees for the positions of Finance Minister Designate, Energy Minister Designate, and Minister for Justice and Attorney General Designate. By the practice of the House, these nominees could have been waited for about 3 weeks to enable the committee to obtain comments from the public. However, in the interest of national development, we waived the privilege to allow the process to proceed. We cooperated with the majority side for a smooth process. However, there are a few observations that we made during the process that we feel obliged to share with the general public. I shall share some of the general overviews. The notice of the nominations was received by the Right Honorable Speaker on January 9, 2024. Case. Members of the committee were not provided with the CVs of the nominees ahead of the vetting. When they were eventually served with the CVs during the vetting, the chairman did not allow for the examination of those CVs as preliminary issues, as had been the practice in the past.
Jana oye no nana ochechre enyema bakum yenu bia ohuye ya na eno no wose na ka mame abnas osei asare masubedwani a owo atiwa is nkeka hu bia na ode ye mfante hu.
The nominees to committee members in advance and the refusal to invite questions on the CVs were all calculated attempts to to obstruct constructive and effective scrutiny of the nominees. Ladies and gentlemen, the chairman of the Appointments Committee was the first real obstacle to a diligent vetting of the ministerial nominees. He denied the Ghanaian people and the minority members of the committee the opportunity to conduct a thorough vetting of the nominees. The members who are tasked by the Ghanaian people with oversight are denied the opportunity to scrutinize the nominees. The chairman and the majority members of the Appointments Committee owe it to Ghana
appointment committee ni dwumadie minority e dia to senior so na wo huhu ni se huhu amoa a wo dia to entete so na wo pese wo hunu sade wo dwumadie no ekro enu bi eno de maaye no na ensam de wo ka bebre Dr. Brako so di tudasa ne bonu sade finance minister designate Dr. Atofosen eba vet nanim eniama koso wo se du bebi Atofosen mu aya wo de ma no asa wo ye ne gwatra on sadan sinupo said ye be your china so many frequent in Pono Hoa, ubetini aboni minima, and so beso ne pet is a cracho can say, Etiano Sunani.
The specific issues with the respective nominees when they appeared before the Appointments Committee. And I shall start with the Finance Minister designate. The Honorable Dr. Kesiel Atoba Forsen, who appeared as the Finance Minister designate, was evasive, inconsistent, and lacked clarity of thought. Having served as a Deputy Minister of Finance and a ranking member of the Finance Committee, one would have expected his answers to be forthright and to exude concrete solutions. For instance, on the specific matter of whether the government would cater for the first-year tuition fees or academic facility user fees of tertiary students as promised, we found the minister-designate's response highly disappointing. How can a finance minister-designate look into the faces of parents?
Dr. Gideon Bawku and I for some etiquette. Because we are joining on Facebook or Angel 102.9 FM mobile na adwadinche ato me somwa once ma be kan de obi sa na ensa kase ba ye kan na so obi apese obi sa na wansa na Facebook anu akọ na inbox na ne na kwakodi nkomo ewo ho me da ase ni CD man ewo ha awone ye ebo nkomo sa na ni CD o se eyesu memenye so okay eyeza sawa ni ewu medase pata Ebenezer Asare no so hima hu me fepa medase na pastor say onu so e friend sechi oh de nyame asese me hia me nim ha Jacob Tahulu esoso wa ha o se good looking yakopon show na decency so e wo ha decency me ho ye pa Gerard Spear no say my favorite journalist yakopon show medase pa Gerard mo say pastor Ebenezer Asare I open my number. Oh, okay. My share was of Medibema. Okay, GTV and was said Drobo is proud of you, my sister. Thanks for the good work. Miss Medamasi, someone woman. Ama Madu baby Amadri. Yamisha Yina. God is so good. Was having a one. Good man. As so I had was a beautiful woman long time. Yakup Shayina. I said, but mammy, if you send me chrome Drobo 14 foot room and then no crate. Nyame wo ho akoyala ye be ye se nyu se obetimi abo bi kwadu ezise ye mene ne anyu so twen wo pe Yankopon hwa nya chike clothing sesese ohwe yen Yankopon hwa chike na akwasi wodro enso wa hanom radio man eseme mehema Yankopon hwa pa heavens folly medase o say you look beautiful na Ghana News 24 enso aba Yankopon hwa eben ese obaye nyina akwaba user say God bless you but nidin eni hanom pase Ebenezer medase se wonso wa ha bia Yankopon hwa mu nyina good man Thank you. One IKD. Medamunina as Kosofo Adin Shebra Facebook. Meaning say chini mo bonkomo. Intestro what the yes sign konko fabio. Yakuya nimuno minority in parliament and a former government officials. Not just say abamu ejmayefua na nadu ni omuye ejwani na enim sector operation recover all loot for frewa menko. And a Ghana for say anasa utimo fita intia mwanku. Na so na nadu na ye ejuma. That's a said, some Ukrainian one, I do not be so where you want someone. Some will come which, yes, a citizen arrest. Yeah, Ghana for it, yes, I am who bambo for. It is so be a baby now who now a Ghana in quo to bonny pacro pechi. Now, Mrano de Nakwa Momo. Now, do cry, say if you see something, say something. Or see young citizens, not friends and spectators. It is a loot to four now say young Kwadia, my young Kwasing. Swami Mass with Jenny John Daku. One or this answer me to just say. All our phone you rebia but to much munya brisa. It will move for a memo Kwasewa da jopa, menko. My inti said ye, what didn't a tuja.
The Attorney General designate is a law professor. When approved, he is going to be the chief enforcer of our laws. When he appeared before the committee and was asked about the legality of this era, he justified it. He justified the unconstitutional establishment and putting together of people who go about harassing former government officials. We believe that the establishment of that oral committee violates and flies in the face of our constitution. And so one would have expected that a law professor in the person of Dr. Ayeni would have condemned it. But rather, he justified it. Now his justification is now putting the work of the police CID, IOCO, and special prosecutor and constitutionally established bodies out of business. It is concerning, and we want the people of Ghana to know, more or less taking over lands from people who have genuinely purchased lands. What the former government officials have done is to acquire properties that legally they could acquire.
So asasiano nemu ena Sadika Dam Sports Obama etrase wo Angel Morning Show jumedie so na ofre lawyer Kwame Adofo ya oye constitutional lawyer woni yama mra no mu say ana oni ni di nkomo ana ono so say eye no kre oba operational operation recover all loot no ka twa na omo ye no ye na akato omo beje mra ebe free Ghana ye hyehyeye mu na atra wo mo kina say omo gira ho sesi ayi de wo mu ha pa.
There's something recognized as oral. For us, you know, what say? You may not need us to be a Tilomocase. When you're Bonia, way, no, it's over than police officers. And now over than a BNI group. And now over than a Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice. And now over a special prosecutor. That is the problem. It is obvious that the way you know. And the Papa Unco Parliament, no one could to me in free Parliament. There was a could be from Ura. There was a Unco Parliament, no more rank of body. Not nothing more than a vigilante group, no matter.
Nothing more than a vigilante group.
Correct.
Can would that not be too harsh, especially as
when I say it could be as a mobile or to me about fee. Who are the party we have seized wearing? No vigilantes. Of course, they are vigilantes. Especially we be unlawful, illegal. While the two nations are wearing. It is truly who could become from militia. It's only vigilantes.
Almost what to the militia.
This is just how I came from. But you won't know vigilantes. And I say, suppose, excuse me to say, nonsense now, wow. One piece of information from police for investigate on Thomas and Fro. So we are the body, yes. From Brako. They want to go to cook. Now, who cast Azuka boys today, but I couldn't know more was stream. There's no difference.
Constitutional lawyer, I need a boy, and the efa said ora for eye womo adwuma lawyer Kwame Adofo on the Sadiq Adams sports Obama and the ball and komoyi Facebook nso komono bi abahonom Samuel Owusu uhia nipa na oni odi nkomona na ne na to so nim same me hyade ni akoma wosan hema we hosa why uhia nipa ono kasa ye na ne na to am nkomo no so na me ni ho bitimi mem yo ene na Fadiga maestro so eso oboma na opeyin osebuno adepa medas nyame israel Ike 1GH eno sisi samechia opa me so oda akoma na me hwemo ye dase Donasen Akoto Donasen samete wonka chepa wo ono susu gina mu hadenden de mo Facebook aye de Ivan sa Japan no say him my girlfriend o girlfriend ni me na winchia no o girlfriend ni so menim so utim insanye you anymore bibia ye ku ewo ha Adegbe Emmanuel esusu Cote d'Ivoire eno hreyen and the slate esusu ewo dome eno hreyen Michael Brew ewo ha eno me nyina aju kwasi otu onsusu owo odoko Nana Ajeku Maxwell eno no susu hreyen oso Kwame Danso ewo Lemu Methodist JHS DJ Positive esusu chia busua ni nyina kwasi otu sese oni light ebeba eze dia zadi etimano na Abdallah Yago esusu Spain ena ohe ena ya wenchi enso ma nyina aju amankwa Ebeneza ena so John Mahama all the way Goma Mustau ena so message wa patro bisame ho aseme yiwa no sisia Ali Yaogo enso ewo hanom ena no so Libya ena ohe owa brichi opeso ate Ghana semwa Angel enwuti yankopon hwamo pa yanko yanim wase alafo adwuma wo mo ye no kasati eni atiritrasmo mo dia batachire no ayetani wei ayo hino wo okonbro ni sowa akwa odoi wono no dia to dia se operation recover all loot for so mo ye adwuma na sekeka eni eniamo ho se no mba ye no dia eni e wasem bonipo waso operation recover all loot committee no wo bo ba ne site na no ne dwuma mo ba be di wo ho no ama aboni pisa ya wodi won sam to Ghana fo enim se yema yeni ema hususan se de omo ye no enye papa ma yen konkotie ni akon ensmo kaye e de fa orafo supaya omo da ne de
so wa akoka se obi enkohye chance ase no so efse yedi nyini ekoso no me sumo obia ni mi ni nko obi minu ya no na ewo hoyi say no kro say no kro omunya ho enye say ebia me nko a me kasa obia ni mi di nko ni ti say jaja na ya ade no me frɛ no say die mati ni wa bo mi lawyer amani na say dey e na me say eni omo lawyer na amani because me pese nkrofo be ba ha a mi lawyer no ni mo hwe ano pay me frame me nue ena me di two onu jaja na nim say enra me ne kan man ti hwe free no there's an agreement so we develop ama family no anya ni share wo bibia o meye wo ho bia no ye nimia se
Jumedia our fobedi wana asase so eno na ochechi mu no na onipa baako a wono soso oye representative of free IOP honom na oye developers of the land omo asase a yesi orafo ko ho no eso ene Alhaji Suleiman Bayo ono soso de babetu dwa se ono mpodie ohu se enye yero ko de tobla kwam ekuru no ene bedi se adwuma na eye nkrofo bi ene de already
we went into it, then we realized there are some people using the name Aura, but it's not Aura. And Aura is a good thing for all of us, because if a government is taking something back which belongs to the government, which all of us as Ghanaians are going to benefit, it's good for us. But it's not that you go to private installation area that maybe a private person have acquired. If you want to do something genuinely, you go to the normal channel. If you believe there's something about Aura to check, You go and prompt them, they will come in and check what is going on here. But you don't take the laws into your own hands to enter somebody's private premises and vandalize everything.
Former Deputy Minister of Defense, Major Kwadwo, and now the other to just say, "O man, ye judge, I will say, ya, could be a sorry, I was me away. Now, man, and it's here. A Becca Crano, yesterday, one be free, and sir, or shall I say, O my gun is I am more bodo. I hope I'm born. Any city I can any a castle Ghana, dear one to toss a diadano. Uswana, a wusso. My auntie Major Kwadwo in Yinaso.
COP Kofi Buachi and Mr. Kipo, Charles Kipo. One more engineer, so professional expertise. Now, the Akad is a woman, Emma, Abemu politics, Emma, one more exposed woman will be a now, what did you say? Once a winning dear knowledge. Professional. Our human media. I can't to where this politics. Ubenya the dynamics, you know. Now, what you are got a human. It's a deeper one, human, and our no political arena, and our Rano. A bit is a policy for me, Yemia Razak, and Kofi Buachi. In Yati, woman, Kofi Buachi, the exploits. Hello, Obrano, policing. I had so many departments I want policing.
It's very Daro Amaswa or some Bobo DB. Extra will be at the wire pay and city winning so it's my age. A Brako Casame, not one is the Kadams, for Obama, and it didn't come out. Angel morning show. So
Be Razak and also a commissioner of police. Once we name dear, you are not one TD papa. Now, so woman, a Sasia, a human in an woman, and IGP. And now, say, can you phone on Casano? And Nipa, and a year Jumamano. Now we are Juman, no Aji, any dear, to open the 2 woman, a young staff officer. One more ever, one man, and he said, IGP, you are Coswa, Nanko for a Senasiano, staff for National. One and I think I can say in the command structure and our command system. They said, we don't have any bad leader. But we have bad staff officer. Why do we have one leader and the human cost? This is going on. You may I'll meet me. I now the air say one more edit political experience and answer political advice about to us because if you are okay, you might win here consultation.
Abai crash penny, and I was a chief executive officer here at Chamber of Construction, Ora Emmanuel Cherry, Elias Yababetuya say, what is a Kwame governs Abuja? Ya will know Yaboni Dins on-call minister designate for roads and highways, no. Sefa, never call Nasan Kabrashu, for Virginia to Udia, any uncle Bossy, and Cecilia Krawasha, Wubusis and say, a Bribia contracted finance 1 year work construction, one Benya, some of the parliament, one more governs, no Kosiana Kane, when ya dajiti or must or how be a woman more Ghana Hano winning. And now also or Makuma Tomiyam. It's a governance and a buying announcement penny, John Dramani Mahama, a minister on my minister for roads and highways there. And your natural said, Womodia Sasanya one. A brana a yesterday Adams at morning show, June a day so our angel high in the morning so and a Sherry and Yasimi Suja.
The Mrepi Emetumu, Muamu ya dance for Yetwana Mopi, and treatment beer, Yenya every the previous governments in some, especially the Minister for Roads and Highways, then Amakwata, Muamuni, and ye Eman Hitama Sembia, and Yabasa Yako Parliament, Yako Committee for Roads and then the Transport. Okay. Nijinano govern Abuja, no a ranking member, it was a particular committee also. Or the more quick tripa MI. And the road sectors and be here on the Minina, on the free crane to crank. And until Sene, Yami Aton so Pago so move upon the Disa or number Bedisa, sector no so a nipa onim ehia wo ho ni nyina no bikiri pa se wasua man say the kwan so abetimi afa nso edi asosa ehia man say how no ano kwan eno ti na de ho awo ase omabo agboja edi amaye. Number 2, ono so as an industry person or architects, and as industry person no at least or when no or industry no, and based upon that no or the name any administrative how do you call it experience as well as tapping from the private sector perspective. The nina kaboma a betimi then aqua nipa emanu and
fa agboja ho wie no na obona baso senyame ya na dum no famu a onkoso ama omunye adwuma abusua Angel 102.9 FM sunye Angel TV FB Facebook ne Angel 102.9 oba na wo follow ye wemi Adoma no so de be ya be beba live no na watimi aka ye ho.
This is Angel 102.9.
Young concern from child marriage consultant Mr. Sinanu Agbojo and I would dare to just say 12 million girls not just kwada bedroom you and as I say yaka mo edi ra wade mu a was say yanhwe ya e bedroom fi 2030 no na aboroso na e bekosoro nso so was kwada maba wa wonyini kura na ye tiri samangubu na kwa akohye was sade we so ha ma no pa na se bi oba pani a wonye adu ni pani fe so kura wo kwa wade no mema etwinidi na kwada wonim hwe ose abasa ya na eha adwen na wosesa wo hwe 2021 Ministry of Gender adwumade bia wo mu diye na akokobu nkompo kokohwemu a wo mu ye fa UNFP so so no mu ye ya wose ekire sesei sa child marriages enkwada ye ka wo mu wura wade mu no ewo ho de aka se atwa mu bia wo boa ne saso nti no wosesa na ye nya minister fofra ene ma ebe wo ne pono so ebe ben no pa no o masa kwan ebe fa so ebe ye hono enka hu bisanse ebasa esen kwada ni bebre abrabo
at the Ministry of Gender and also at the UNSPA. The essence of today's meeting is to engage the media on how far we've gone in terms of child marriage in Ghana. 2018, the UNFPA and the UNICEF reports that Sub-Saharan Africa 4 in every 10 girls are involved in child marriage. A total of 12 million girls are suffering from this menace of child marriage. The UN LGBT Goal 5 indicates that we have up to 2030 to end child marriage in Sub-Saharan Africa, Ghana by extension. The essence of today's meeting is to give you a media highlight of what the ministry has done so far in combating child marriage in Ghana. In 2021, the ministry, through the help of the UNFP, established the Child Marriage Information Portal. The essence of the portal is to give credence to the mandate of the ministry to be the data repository for events or issues of child marriage in Ghana. By essence, the ministry is mandated to keep data, to record data, articles, research papers, everything concerning child marriage in Ghana. So the portal was established. The essence of this portal is to make sure everything on child marriage in Ghana is deposited there. The general public can go in there, reference this information, and even contribute or report cases.
Head of Child Marriage Unit, Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection, and Sophia Taminu. Ano suba betre na dwen e wosan kwada yi kwan ye befa so a ye beyi wo mo a free child marriage mo.
So if you me wo child marriage who ni say who say we shouldn't give especially our girl child early in marriage because it has a lot of implications. Teenage pregnancy is one of the implications of child marriage. We can have it can truncate the girl's education. the girl will be less empowered. The girl is at high risk of domestic violence because once he's married as a child, he's not matured psychologically, physically to be able to handle issues of marriage when it comes to childbirth, even managing the home and even managing the husband. If the baby should have another baby, even managing the baby itself is another challenge. So we are pleading with parents to ensure that their girl child go to school, stay in school, and then be in school. And thankfully to government, we have the free compulsory basic education. So we're also pleading with parents to make use of the free compulsory basic education to keep especially their girl child in school. The emphasis is on the girl child because they are about 9 times riskier when it comes to child marriage than the boys. And then for collaboration, we work collaboratively with the domestic violence and victim support units to end
Nkomobo aye fan kwada maba wa edromura wade mo no ya kwada obewo akwada na kwada tete akwada na no mo awo nyinsen no ne awo no mpo akwada bu ho ebeba sa no fe drinsia ne asa na nyinsen ebedu so wo no na sire mu nyini ni no mpere mu mie nti akwada no bepie na ate awode no kwan ne sebi ni tumu kwan na bom enti na okonya fistula wo sebi oja ne na kura wo hunu akire nsem bebre we nyina nti and a child marriage was rese ebeya nka yenhwe ne yentwam sanse basa ya na ehadwen ehankwada na pomudi akwanua se bebre so so be ma ne kanati mo ne na da no de sebi ma ne mpanifo ne kwada nyina tokuro no se adekro sebi enyi a wo so pe na yesesa ye wom endo obetimi na da na akira asem wo be ma ne kra so obedi woni kra no wontimi hwe no no ankasa mpo ne ho oba bewo na fe na oboro no na kwensim bebre enti wosrese yema kwada no nyine sebe ya umbehu no mo so hwe akosu anya adwuma bi aye na dache watimi aso mo ewo fie ho da wo na wo mo boyi ye kwa yanemu no ebraso ya to abawie yenya banfoforo wo pa adwuma ye fo no mbe ye adwuma yenika mo ya papa John Dramani Mahama abaso esa woyi ma woyi no wonkanya ma ena sebi nyese ma mienu miensa bi de ya sese wode dada danko dada bi woyi ma no omo position ya mama Elizabeth Jare utimu se position mu odu ohun lovely utimu se position so de mama no eso ani na sese de ya hwane se abakra chempanifo nso a yebeyi wo mo no yebenya emma ewom sabi me your body and so yakasa man na say okwa kofro oba na na ne shape na ne hips debi nya no ne different man ye wo man bi wo ho a ye de ya mato wo se ya mabenya beti se wo mo sama no na ye srese ye benya be the first mayor e wo Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly ye benya e wo Kumasi Mary Isian Asari si enya no se Metropolitan Chief Executive MCE e wo Kumasi a anke pepa keme anko beboa Mary oba kukodrufa wa bone ho moden ye ba amanyoko NDC mu a woni eto omo botom eyi sika de boa party no Mary ka ho enye no nko Mary eye lawyer ni a waye adwuma finhye adunan enti na adwumu do owoba na o sanso so kra you be a oye entrepreneur ya wo 4 schools ya oye finance asan ya grassroots person edema NDC amanyuku no enti se waboa apota manafia Mary di bombia eyeye ena nyese oye oba no oye lawyer kekenti Mary aben e de keme manua no be de fe oba mayor e wa sentimentemu a obeboa ama sentimentemu tumpo na NDC amanyuko ni Ghana nyina ni munyam enti ya mampani John Dramani Mahama ogusu a wo ba adwuma na ye ba wa baso wa appointment mu kai Mary Isian Asare na o mebo adwuma na emwa ho ankasa wa mamu na yet also a consent for mo Twedase Primary School eye aban school na which you want say a first government school ya we see e wotema ya wonya educational materials from Ivy Golden Stone Foundation school yi which you say Ghana ye mampani a wodi kan Kwame Atwampma Kwame Nkrumah wono ena we see ye nanso be sisa be odu school mo no kwan na ka twa school we Kwame Nkrumah tutu ni na ba ha wonyini Oh, as a quantity, it was Rasa Ohiam one was a senora Daniel Mesa or Ka Ivy Golden Stone Foundation. Only all students here watch Darcy Primary School, Aka Boom. Now, Woma Quaya Ayadia Fene Sombo, a day Ama Chidase Primary School. My Yente Yera Daniel Mesa, ya Oka Ivy Golden Stone Foundation for him, and some of the tuja.
Unfortunately, the CEO is not here with us, is out of the country. But she grew up in this vicinity, precisely Site 7, just behind the schools. And I also grew up in the same community. So it is not new to us. We are neighbors, and some of us are old students of this school. I finished somewhere in 91, 92, thereabouts. So this afternoon, she deemed it fit that as we do it every year, we pick 2, 3, 4 institutions, less privileged institutions, and well-endowed ones as well, and then donate something to them, to support them, to cushion them, to let the children feel that they are all part of the society that we all want in a better way to come. And so on behalf of Ivy Stone Golden Foundation and the members here, we wish to give you these tokens, especially to the final years who will be moving to the next stage of their lives.
We are Madam Betty Ohene Obey, Sisoya, watch Darcy Primary School, so Ivy Golden Stone Foundation for Ase, Ewanamoa Womochino.
I am Betty Ohene Obey, the CISO for Chidasi Circuit, in which oversees Chidasi Primary School. I was here this morning to do my normal routine and inspection. When headmaster told me some people will be coming here to do a donation. So we are grateful having you, and we thank you for all that you have brought to these learners. We pray that it will go a long way to support them in their education. As you said, mostly learners in class 6 who will be moving to JHS next year. Thank you so much for this kind gesture.
We are dear, Ebeba when someone wa kai baby free. Sebeya, almost benya was soon fast when you be sabinia beer and a bit mamma duania di nimum, or man de Dutch or the bra or becao. Ye call ye name Nana Boama, I repair out to me and Sakwa Quatiahene. One in a month when you can bomne assembly members me no, a year Daniel Kwame Japan, or ye assemblyman ma Quatia Dompem, electoral area, or Sire Chairman, Parents Teachers Association, ya a woskumo, and a woman. Kambo Masia Fre, Ira Francis and Sasaki, your assembly member, Adoma Bronoso, Dentaso, Christian Quarters electoral area, and one new all students in Yakabo Moa, one with the 700 pieces of desk, Aquacoma, Nkwetia Presbyterian Senior High School, ya almost say, and Quadano Matiti say, Ebu or Muko School, Motetosomi and San and Nine, Yabasa Nama, Huchra Bahutuniho, into Omodi Aquacoma, Nana Buama, I report to me and Sa, Kwankwetia Hene, your yes and Nahine, Ewako. Traditional area any jina nemua what did deski komai
but that's why I say ohine de ukruma say kru no ho bambo na ya de hia kase timo ho no a meni memban vo enya no ntie se nkwa school students ni nya nkonwa so ntena no meni memban vo hiae no kure kan yakoma enti hia ma adwunwen ho ma ya de to baby Bawku say yi nyina ye beka bom na nkwara na ya pe o mahwe enti butai no de tietia se nkwara no munya desk ni nkonwa amono be sua de enu nti ene kan yakoma ma ekọ omumwa tina no pe ne ekọ so no ene amene mempanifo ekeka ensase ayinya ya yenso ye de boa school no e wo me mikru no
ana weni ni dikan ya oye
Abusia wei eye ohene Nana Boama I report so me ensa kwa wonkwati ahene e oyesta na ahene okwa traditional area and I tene ka head mistress here wo school mo and Mrs Gloria Befi ono so e den semse ba betudwa
Nana no bebre Isra PT ni assembly fo a abedom yen na yenim se wei enye de ebetwa to obekoso a adom yen Say school no ye hear more bebree. Say you ha ye sua ade na ye hear library. Ye hear ICT center. Ye ni library bi ankwala ni sua ade ho. E na ye ni ICT center papa bia. Nanso say niam we yensa kan ebeboa ma ye mofra no etimi asua ade yi. No etimi edum pempen so a edi school ne so ebekọ nanim. Yesre adofo no obia obeti message se oba ye mo a ye beka se yehu a onya no pese ye damase oba ye mo a ewo enkwa
Enti obi a ebi aka wonsa bia nso na nso aba baby e de ama omo ene em sam refi wi afe kwabena wi afe Daniel no so no okọ school at UK me de number be mama ya na ma frɛ no ma dan ne ka no so de bi aba onu ko school ai yanko ani me ohene ani omafo ye wo achimasi akwa krokuma ya adupadodo a wo ho no wo me ye kuafo ewo abuakwa south mpotemu ewo apurementemu wo so de wo south wo sayem estre ankrankran ni aboafo se ensuo esi ensuo ye nkwa dese ensuo ene ye nkwa de ani wo mase be hye nche ensu papa abo wo so wo nya ensu pannom enti se enwumako na musie saria na ebi corporate social responsibilities ya mututu nsuo no mu chicha monka ye ukro bi efro achimasi akwa wo so wo ni nsu pa wo nom udodu abu akwa south mpotemu ho anafa map no na abu achimasi akwa abu akwa south a ebeyi ho map na kirewo na wakoho akwa akoye wo mu adoye yenti o manfo ni su
nsuo de ho asam adin e kire se eso benya nsuo kwa yeso pe pragia na boboya enu krampo no wudu usika na eto no omonko yenya nsuo eso pese obenya nsuo pa yeso so letere okoko tra pipe ano enu ko nya bucket ba ko na asa yuko pragia for omonko omonte so sewo na ko wen nsuo no wanya pure water ye de nu aduane ye de huhuru bi wa kura chance mu kwa ye aduane ye de huhuru mimi to mi tisa chase timi yusu ese no keke tisa nsuo amini binti esan bi kura timi de nu aduane na menu ano menu amo
oh nsuo de ba bosome ba mi nsani pipe ebro no so ye nya bi nsada woto ayi na bag na wotete a dodo ebetumi anu aduane no na ade anu a
nti nsuo ho na wa ha papa because of the activities of galamsey menace koso wa ha te say nsuo no a ye nya dware no mi momu de e betimi aka say I could afford it it be ho no mo a bia meto bia sachet water ani ayi me bobo anu aba se tenya se metimi de dware na wo ye ne se na de dware metitia no na me de gu bucket mu na amede akwa kodware
ni premai yesu si obi no de ni kente kwafuo mu a enkase wa ye ne ho de aka no wonya ne ho de aka no enu ntina sachet water no mu de dware no nyame atom ekobi e from Meaningful Life International eku ensha abayase omakwa Akoto boho ibi edi ama wo mo a wo mo kire mu se ebo ama sekwese kuro no uchem bese nan a emu kakra aka ewo de wo benya bebi wo mbekwa akosa nsupa bianom nanso ensu ntidasia ebi brand biu Dr. Godwin Kofi Alija one na founding president Adoma Meaningful Life International obekire die nti a okokotu sa na moyi
yo nietini se ye no ejuma ye poteni se ye di nsuo ebekọ nkra omuni nsuo nkra ebia sebe omunsuo no enye nsuo ahote dodo na obehwe no muni mponchia na dwan ana nkokọ enum nsuo efri the same river and stream na sesia de ye hu se emre atwemu na ne adwin se ne problem penne no galamsey sesia ha ganafo no even a bigger problem aba sesia yare na ye nya fi nsuo no mo na enye diarrhea ne bilharzia sesia
Dr. Godwin Kofi Alija, founding president of Meaningful Life International. Ochame Kwaku ansa oyakasama for edema nananum hemfo wasi akwa ono ene dasebre chuma mpofo mienu one ne hemfo ene woni aka bi eba mu nyina ekasaye ese wonyina ye die so na obi anso nye bima
ya hyase na iwra bodwa ehia ne manfo no na oda manfo ase ebie no na ne disu ade hu kese ba kwa na de na ko se obinya nsupa ama ne manfo anom eno ena bashase a ufrase a ena ye kasai zongo ufrase a otubi ama nokra ye wo ensuo ni bi wo ha oweri beka se pipe ana Ghana water system nanso do baby no na onfidie hu atochima kakra enti na yewura dasebre tuma mpofo enana no mana ne manfo ebre ensuo hu eno ana one atrankonya ananom esrase opinion leaders onwe kebi wom esrase dwe hu kan so sadia na onioma bebre ye e de boare manfo de yanso odi ensuo bedikai atuna koma so
Etwei eyankomo a yekote ye na sadia beye animu ye imu abeba no mrase bedwani a wo nsuta kwa mai be poso abaton peso aso yera Adelaide intim wakeka ne sase makakra wonya 50,000 Ghana cedis se baka 500 million wode akoma empanifo eda kantamanto dwana no sei wo mo adwuma yefo a wo mo ho aka no yemfa moa wo mo ewa kwa bia ede ahoto beba so na sika ya wode koye no wo sei na wode kwa akobo a anya hwekra no adwadifo besa wo ha ya wo mo dwa ahye a wo pese wo mo san bodwa ne biu no wo betimi ede abobo bibi kakra de asi wo na wo mo de ahye bibi kakra ase eja ya ehye ye 1 January no shops ehye ye na nya agro na yentie ya maame Adelaide intim asemo de to so
ese meba na ne attitude ese meba ne se emre bia ye to aba omufaka ena omaba ka na omutina mu omusika ombese omahoden no kwa hunya me se odo ene ebi kra na nka obia ohonom kwa akobeka so ma because unim akwanhia wom bibia wom ti se nipa no tutu ne nan na so oba na obeto aba mawa na sa asamato na untumi ntina honomo se wo so wo tina honomo ekwasa ye be hwe a last 4 years 2020 a member of parliament na ye wo mrahye bedwa efie no se wo hwe mu a mepe na akame a metimi ba 9th parliament na mebusa me ho se nya odo a omo mame a omo di mika beto aba mame a kenen ke bia menyina ha se me sa koye
ene amania wodi tudwa kire de ntia wotu sa na moyi na okokoye ayeye de edema omafo ye wo kantamanto chairman ye wo nsuta kwa mambe post traders ya wo kantamanto ene yera ajei amponsa yeta friend Alaska nsusu jiye na ne se wodi tudwani
500 million bia nyame man nyi that's buy no ya to answer friend no so asem say na to ye enya mu bebre nso ya to abama no bo abatu ye organize on ko to abama no nti ya ka kire no ka kire oba besra na mpa ne oba besra nti ne oba no ma enwu adwe ya na sepa ya ka say na mi sha pa ma na mi sha isi akwa nye ba bi nto ade ana yakwaji banglo ni ade iti na ma hocha ba super ba na kakra ba ya mai ama ya nya relief kakra je ka say na mi sha pa
Yeguswasha eja sisia ne ekire nsansemi ya ese eja ibi nso atia so ni mamoke eno no ye bia ya asia sheda abobo ntabodan ye mu neja amafo ekokọ home ewo asokore mampompotem ewo santimentam eja wo se asase ai match enwumre bese no 9 pa mu a ahia enduadan ya omo abobo bese duonum de yese ahihye ni nyina ma amafo hunu bebi anadwe wode wotiri beto yese bebi ofi anke enko habayire no aka se pe bibidi ni enko habayire na wa obi a wono nuadan mu na sada kura nkosoro man from papa bia fa memu no oda ese ahen bi no woko na wose esansa akoye nuadan na ebobo obo ho ntini gya ne so mu ne se anibo tete kakra bi na ba bia hye du no na ayeden ma yentie obi a odi nani hunu gya no ene odumgyafo kokodu ho bra wo fra mo na bra kokodu ho ene akire nsam
Son, oh, okay.
Kinanga duka. Wanda yezo tenye duka mundo godi amumbashi. Ama abinde faru ne. Muna da zamune gabari muka ga wuta. Wuta ya na cikin daki yaye munna. Muka zo muka tanye wuta ya mutu. Amma muna so mu bar assemblyman nguwanga ya bar MP Mubarak ya ji kama nguwanga ba na farko kenan ba. Ba na guda ba na biyu ba. Sai ya kuri ko da ta muna need fire service ne kusa da mu no mun kira ma don mazaje na anguwa ba da na shi wa da anguwan ga duka ko mutum ma ba mu samu don su muna ba su hankuri su hankuri honorable mu ya bar fire service kusa da nan ga ba ka ba mu na biyu ba mu sani ba na farko ke
dakunan nan kamar irin nawa suka kona
kuka ji dakunan nan ka ce 30 ma ba ka fadi komi ba dakunan ma 30 ma yafi ba mu kira ya ma mu da mu da turin nan ne mu ce 30 amma 30 ma bai komi ba ka gani
ya
sunana Abdul Karim
me
Abdul Karim
Angel 102.9
ahande amin kabi na free min peswa no so yeko yanimu no amafo wa Ablekuma North na ode atwa se yedum wo nka ne afia no pa ebesisa ye kasai emai ena omunim breso a ebeba de ya meka ho asemi ye official town odoko kwashibu ene mpatam ahodo a ebembe so na amafo ni chem se ECG for ebeka kire omo nra se wo mo ye share den kakra enti ombedum omo nka ne ano na aba anwumere nunu mo se besisa bria ye kasai kane ano mai enti se ECG for hwe watch a 5 abama 6 abama ne kobo 7 wo mo mpe extra hours no enti ECG for so omo nka ne enti ECG adwuma fu a mo hwe Ablekuma North yesra mo a mo hwe na mo man kane anemra na omafo no esu se bibi so na asie na anu nti kane ani nti memma ene o man de hye kura mo fanfa so na amafo no na wo mo ho so ehunu bra enyinam kane ano ebeba wie abusua na kire se empanifo se yetete abetie no na ne cha no ye kan funu so a na ye kan de madam pan ye da mo ase the rock abasisi a na meka se nipa kro no on time won hu se ni mu amunam na sa o sheda mu he TV eti wo hu ye da nyame ase the rock ye da mo asese mo baaye o se Moving Angel wu afako enso se odaya se pa wu afako se fako kra Sally Lover Boy so ese odaya se na ndam atukumsen wasire so pase Beneza asare no se sechwa mechia Madam Happy Obaya asare okaswa yenchia no emano yate yenim se Happy ebete sanse Angel de no bi etie ye ne original de no bi etie no ye ne ka ekwa akire no bi anso so tie enti minim se Madam Obaya ebete mo amu join ne yen e wo Facebook ye damwase papa we ne ye friend odono we na ye friend odono nyame hwa mu nyina se munya abotre na mo twen ya kwesi se bibia to mu kama me ka na me kire Adom Samuel or say Angel or the best AECG yadamase everyone watching from Fumeswa and Kwadwo Ajiman Blackman and so Abba out no so Facebook or so Pick Farm and Ohe Kadre Sulemana and no Angel your best and a champion or Serwaa you looking good Medase Columbus Ohio and Ohe Isaac or Don Kosi Angel TV all the way soldier politician say Soja politician ko no maduro bi ne da Kwadwo ne kwada piaga memfi no Okujeto Blakwa is not part of those collecting double salaries there be abusuya ba bi adru yenko mega 6 ne yenko pesika mu yeboto midin ni ohema sexual Nicholas Kujo ene Kwadwo bafo ene omukabo mususo yemu asame ewo ha abusuafo bebre